there's still a lot of negativity I have to get through. There's still a lot of negative impulses and negative drive and negative feelings that I need to just smash. I need to just... I wouldn't say there's a lot. I just feel like there's some big chunk of corrosion that needs to be chipped away and left to bleed and then heal, you know. It's like... it could be really beautiful. I guess it feels more simple and more realistic to say that it's just like I've got myself in a situation where I'm managing this complex. I get things under control. I keep things under control the best way I know how. It works out 100% of the time. And I'm not a kid anymore, so I don't have the same kid impulses that I would have done when I was a kid if I had been in this situation. But now that I am truly an adult, there's that part of me that's like, oh, you can make the best out of this. But it's like my demands are too high. My standards are too high. I want too much. I'm like, it's Monday. And I think rightfully, correctly, I've treated Mondays like, let's be present at the complex. Let's not, fall off the wagon and disappear on Mondays. But there's this sense that, God, I really wish I had something planned for today instead of it being so... It's like I don't want it to be so easy, but I'll scream and cry at the top of my lungs if it were to pass me by, or if I couldn't. I dread the thought of sitting in a chair as a receptionist of any kind, because it would just be like a ticking clock of how soon I get fired, because it would be unbearable. It's not even a matter of, well, if you had to do it, it's like, well, if you had to light yourself on fire, I guess, to save your kid, you'd do it, but, you wouldn't want to be on fire for too long before you turn into some smoldering ashes. You'd want to get it through with. I mean, that's kind of the analogy that is relevant there. I feel like in a sense I've got such a simple mind that turns so simply, that doesn't really aggravate other real possibilities that are there. Like I'm set in this fucking stone place that's like, oh yeah, well you only have this much money, and and you have to do this. No, let's pay attention to this, and let's get, and then you get sidetracked, and it's all about these kind of neurotic things that just have pressing needs, and then, you have to meet them. I think you've been good at changing that lately. My lips have never been this chapped in May. Never. mean, how do we change that? How do we really make it? Oh, it's just like pulling the wool out from my own eyes. You know, like, what is it? I was too inert today. Too much inertia. Too little participation. Too much being withdrawn into compulsivity and spending hours on that for nothing, for very little. And it's like, I would just really want it a different way, you know. Oh, you go over this ramp? You want to go northbound?
Yes.
Okay, so go over this ramp up there, make a right turn,
Right.
and then you'll see there's an option to make a left turn. It's just that first left.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
You bet.
I appreciate it.
I mean, really, it's like little things. Fuck. It's just little things. It's like, so part of me knows that if I were to just give myself something to do, like some obligation, no matter how small it was, just, I don't know, if I had to pick up a package for some elderly person and bring it, you know, from the airport to their place or something like that. I think that is something. Just, you know, on Mondays I do this. Something small that would make a difference, you know. I think inspiration is drained from you when you are a nerd and you are in the same place. I don't think you give yourself time for it or room for it. I don't think it occurs. It doesn't start growing when you're a nerd. It's just kind of, because there's all these other things. There's all these other questions, like, well, what are we doing and why are we so focused on what we shouldn't be focused on, and, you know, and then that's what creates that sense of nothingness and being left behind and boredom, and, you know, there's not this, you know, this feeling that's so important to most human beings. Most human beings, I would very well argue, that you're like, you know, yeah, I'm gonna do that, I'm going, and then it's like almost in a just carefree way, like a child. You're like, oh, that's so cool, and then we're gonna do, I got an idea, we could do that, and one thing becomes another, and you're inspired, and you know, you're able to harness other goals and create them and work towards them, you know. I think you just feel better, you know.